That was a tough watch, guys, wasn't it? After two disappointing performances and results in the last two games, we were all hoping the Reds would come out firing against Wolverhampton, especially given the visitors' poor form. And to be fair, that's exactly what happened in the first 45 minutes. A clever tactical move from Arne Slot tore Wolves' defensive block apart, and Liverpool looked in complete control. But the second half, a totally different story. The energy dropped, the intensity faded, and we can only imagine Slot had some harsh words for his players after that performance. So if you missed the game for any reason, or if you just want a tactical breakdown of how the Reds opened the scoring using a now familiar pattern from this season, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive straight into it. Now let's talk lineups. As expected, this was our strongest possible starting 11, especially with Cody Gakpo unavailable for selection. Alisson took his usual spot between the posts. At the back, it was Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate in central defence, with Andrew Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold covering the flanks. In midfield, McAllister, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai controlled the middle of the park. And up front, it was the deadly trio of Mo Salah, Diogo Jota and Luis Diaz leading the attack. Now, while Wolves might have looked comfortable both in and out of possession during the first 10 minutes, they clearly weren't prepared for how ruthless the Reds can be when given even the slightest bit of space. That's the danger of attacking an Arne Slot team. You might think you're in control, but the moment you lose the ball, you have no idea how quickly they'll punish you. And that's exactly what happened 15 minutes into the game. The Reds broke the deadlock using a tactic we've already discussed in detail on this channel, the rest attack approach. If you haven't seen that breakdown yet, make sure to check it out for the full tactical explanation. But for now, let's walk you through how this first goal unfolded. Take a look at this moment when we win the ball back after a Wolves attack. Notice how we have 8 players deep in our own defensive third. But where are the other two? After all, take a look at these two players in question, Salah and Jota. Why are they staying that high up the pitch? Well, that's exactly what rest attack is all about. It's a defensive approach with attacking intent, and there are different ways to execute it. For Salah, this role isn't new. Under Arne Slot, he's consistently positioned high, right on the edge of the opposition's rest defense structure, ready to pounce. But Jota, he's a newer piece in this setup. His role here is crucial. By staying high, he pins back Wolves' defenders and even occupies 2 of them, making it harder for them to step up. The key to turning this defensive moment into an attacking threat, McAllister. He spotted Jota's movement and played a perfect pass into him. But the real moment of brilliance, Jota's ability to win the ball between 2 defenders and lay it off to Diaz in one smooth motion. From there, it was game over for Wolves. We instantly created a 3-2 situation, and with Diaz switching the play to Salah, it was enough to cause havoc in their box and break the deadlock. Before we move on to the second goal and break down exactly what happened, let's talk about something we noticed well before we won that penalty. Take a look at the off-ball movement of our players here. Jota drops deep, McAllister pulls wide, and Luis Diaz tucks in from the wing. These rotations on the left-hand side caused all sorts of problems for Wolves' defensive structure. Not only did we create constant passing options in that area, but this movement also forced Wolves' defenders out of position, opening up space for our players to either receive the ball or make dangerous runs. This pattern repeated 2 or 3 times in the first hour of the game, and it completely unsettled Wolves' defensive block. They struggled to stay compact or gain control without the ball. Then, 37 minutes in, this exact movement paid off, leading to the sequence that won us the penalty, which Mo Salah calmly converted. Here, you can see McAllister pulling wide, just like we mentioned earlier. At the same time, Diaz and Jota rotate positions, and this movement triggers multiple key advantages. First, it opens up space for Diaz to attack with his run. Second, it gives McAllister extra time and space to make a better decision. And third, it sets him up perfectly to play an in-swinging through ball. His body position, facing the field horizontally, allows him to execute the pass smoothly with the inside of his foot. From there, it was brilliant work from Diaz, winning the ball, drawing the foul and securing the penalty. That first half performance, classic Arne Slot football. We saw the usual 4-1 build-up with McAllister or Szoboszlai occasionally dropping deep alongside Gravenberch. And outside of the first 15 to 20 minutes, our pressing was controlled and conservative, just as we've come to expect. It was a measured performance, even if we were a bit less patient than usual in possession. The second half, though, a completely different story. energy. And we're 100% sure Slot had some strong words for the players at halftime. Because let's be real, if it wasn't for Alisson's brilliant save early in the half and Quansah's last-ditch intervention in the 88th minute, we could have easily dropped 2 points, or even lost the game altogether. At no point in that second half did we ever feel in control, either with or without the ball. Decisions were rushed, passes lacked precision, and you could see the nerves creeping into the players. Now, to be fair, we have to give credit where it's due. Wolves and their manager had a fantastic second half. They stepped up, pressed higher, and nearly dominated us at Anfield. And at the heart of everything, Matheus Cunha. He was involved in nearly every dangerous moment Wolves created, and to be honest, he fully deserved his goal. The Brazilian wasn't just carrying the ball and dribbling past players. He was dictating play, slicing through our lines with pinpoint passing, and controlling the tempo. Which brings up an interesting question. Should Liverpool target Matheus Cunha in the summer transfer window? Could he be the next big name to lead our attack from the centre? Let us know in the comments. Would you take Matheus Cunha at Anfield? Again guys, as good as the first half was, the second was genuinely disappointing. Arne Slot tried to calm things down by bringing on Wataru Endo late in the game, and while that helped marginally, we still had some nervy moments, including that dangerous free kick Wolves won near the end. And if you want a perfect summary of our second half struggles, just look at the stats. Wolves had 54% possession and created 1.0 XG. Us, we played with fire, 0.0 XG created, and despite trying to slow the game down, we only completed 180 passes compared to Wolves' 205. Fatigue, both mentally and physically, could have played a part, and you could see it in the way we conceded. But let's be clear, last year's scenario cannot repeat itself. And we're 100% confident that Slot will address any nerves creeping into the dressing room before they become a bigger problem. Now, of course, the most important thing is that we got the 3 points, especially after the Everton draw and with Arsenal winning their game a day earlier. But the players shouldn't be happy with how they've performed in these last 2 matches. This league is ours to lose. And if we want to go the full distance, games like this need to be managed better. And that's it for today's breakdown, guys. A game of 2 halves. One where we looked like a well-drilled dominant side, and another where we were hanging on for dear life. There's definitely a lot to take away from this performance, both the positives and the concerns. On the bright side, we once again saw how effective our attacking patterns can be, with the rest attack approach unlocking Wolves early on. The movement, the rotations, the understanding between the players, it's all there. And at this stage of the season, those fine details can make the difference between winning and dropping points. But on the flip side, game management is still an issue. This wasn't the first time we've lost control in the second half, and it can't become a habit, especially in a title race this tight. Slot and his staff will know this, and we expect them to work on it before our next big test. At the end of the day, 3 points are 3 points, and with every game, we get closer to our goal. But what do you guys think? Were you happy with the performance? What went wrong in that second half? And would you take Matheus Cunha at Anfield next season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.